Thanks everyone for joining us today. Please raise your hands with questions for Coach Hopkins. We'll start with Jeff Magliochetti.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for joining us today, and congratulations on your first playoff berth as a WNBA head coach. So my question for you, as cliche as it sounds, when you got the news that the Liberty had clinched that final spot, what was your reaction to that? And who was the first person you talked to after you found out that the Liberty had clinched?
We messaged in the group chat as a team, and then my dad called me, actually. So that was the first person. My dad was with my sister, nephew, and brother-in-law. So my reaction was to continue to work. We had been working to prepare for Phoenix. So I just sent a group message to the coaching staff, group message to the players, and it was time to get to work.
Absolutely. And we've talked so much this season about how much progress has been made despite the lack of wins in the win column right now, but so much progress has been made in terms of what you, Jonathan, and Kia have spent the past 2 seasons building. So how does it feel to have an undeniable sign of progress right now in the form of a playoff berth, something that even the biggest Liberty detractor cannot take away at this point?
Yeah, I imagine they'll still try. So that's why I don't put too much emphasis on that stuff. It's nice. It's definitely something that wasn't necessarily like a must-have. This year, I was more concerned with our day-to-day, and I continue to be more concerned about that at this stage in the building. And it was always going to be about us working to be consistent, to communicate, to support one another, hold one another accountable, and to do those things, every single day, every time we step on the court, every time we're in a film session. So, yes, it's it goes without saying that it's fantastic. Most of the detractors don't know what they're looking at. So that part, I learned very quickly in the bubble season, to take all those opinions with a grain of salt unless the person's in the locker room, knowing what we're doing, why we're doing what we're doing. Then I don't really care to hear it.
Appreciate your time and insight, Coach. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Erica Ayala. Erica Ayala.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right, fantastic. 2 years in, still don't know how to do this. All right. Anyway, I was saying I wanted to build off of what Jeff was asking you. If you look at that, the work that you've put in, you've gone through the creation of this team. You're working your way through Tuckman's model is essentially what I'm saying. Now you're at a place where you have to perform. What are some of the biggest things that you are telling the team after all of the things that you told us from Friday's win to take that now into the playoffs and really be able to perform not just the way you want to advance, but the way you want when it comes to how this team is going to continue to grow and develop for the future?
Yeah, it's really a lot of the same. It's a focus on both, as it has been. The concept of the hybrid rebuild, it's to stay in the moment on the day-to-day in service of the long term. So the messaging is very similar. I was really proud. We had a good film session this morning, getting to watch the level of communication, attention to detail on both ends of the court in that Washington game. I thought a lot of things came together, and then practice really built off of that today. They were fantastic. Communication was as good as it's been all year. We had our slip-ups, but they covered for one another. There's players in the baseline holding each other accountable. And everybody's receiving information really well. So, when I think about growth, I think about what we've done. The playoffs are great. Of course, we've talked about this, that I want to win games. There's no question. But the thing that I'm most proud of, regardless of how the chips fell, is the way that they've come together and the way that they're leading. Our leaders are leading. It's that is hard. There's a lot to break down in individual desires and goals, things like that. I really think everybody's playing for the team right now. I'm really proud of it.
And just another quick thing, Coach, are you expecting to have everyone healthy? Will everyone be available to you?
As far as I know right now, yeah, I think we're in a pretty good place for that.
Sarah Valenzuela.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. Going into this next game against the Mercury, in the past, you guys have seen kind of 3 different Mercury teams with Brittany Griner, without Brittany Griner, with DT, without DT. What is sort of your game plan specifically on defense approaching this game, if you can provide us with some insight?
Yeah, it probably won't. We've got to be extremely active. We've got to know player tendencies and try to take them out of their first option. We've got to know who we're closing out to. Really knowing personnel is going to be huge. Obviously, team defensive work really hard on to make sure that we're, as a team, doing a good job understanding what they want to do, trying to take them out of options 1 and maybe option 2, force them to, attack us with that third option as much as possible. Other than that, it's going to be the communication and the togetherness and everybody making sure we're picking up for one another. When somebody goes to help or whatever, if we spend ball screen, they've got to be strength. It's something to talk about a lot. So it's a lot of our same defensive principles. I think they just kind of have to continue to step up and get more and more consistent with everything I'm trying to do.
Thank you.
Barb Barker.
Hey, Walt. Sorry if I'm repeating a question that was already asked. I got done late. I apologize. I just want to know, as far as expectations, I mean, you guys made the playoffs for the first time in a long time. You had a rough time down the stretch, but you won a game that you needed to at the end. I mean, where do you see the growth? I mean, do you see a growth pattern being up and down, or how do you feel about the way you completed the season heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, I feel really good about the way we ended against Washington. They had every reason to win that game. They had to win it. That was a playoff game for us, and I thought that the way that we responded in terms of team accountability, in terms of everyone being focused on the right things, on making winning plays, I just didn't see any individuals out there. I saw players trying to find what's the best shot. I saw players trying to do what their teammates expected them to do defensively and make sure that our rotations were sharp. I really saw our team. It seemed to me like they started to figure something out. And the ups and the downs, I mean, I've seen growth all year, and it's always been the same thing that I've talked to you guys about with consistency. That we see the glimpses, we go on these runs, we have these spurts where it's like, whoa, this team is really good. And then we have our spurts where we make a few mistakes, they snowball, we start to kind of doubt ourselves, and everything kind of, cinnamon rolls its way into being much bigger than it would have been if we just would have, stopped a run, calmed it down, run the set that we want to run. But look at the drop in turnovers, outside we had that anomalous game against Connecticut, but I think our turnovers have been considerably better. I think we're taking better care of the ball, we're getting shots. And I really do think that our team defense has improved dramatically because the players are bought into rotating, talking, and rotating more quickly, sense of urgency. So in addition, I think our rebounding has been fantastic. They really have been swarming the glass. All 5 go to the glass every time. So the growth has been absolutely tremendous.
Great, thank you.
Jackie Powell.
Hey, Walt, good to see you. I'm curious about how much time there is on your end and all the coaches' ends to make adjustments to Phoenix that maybe you might not have been able to make in the regular season when it was just, back to back to back.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to change a ton. We are who we are. We're going to try to continue to execute the things that we do well, the things that we're working on all year. 3 days of install to really change some things up is hard. So, it's not going to be a matter of doing new things. It's a matter of us executing things better than we have in the past. And I think we're more capable.
Right. And building off of Erica's question, the last time you guys faced the Mercury at home, the team was really struggling. So what I want to know is what's the difference between that team that we saw in the 2-game set, the 2 losses, and the team that's in front of you right now?
I mean, I think you can watch Washington game back, and there's your answer, right? Like that. That is the team that we are right now. There's a lot of things that go into the little lull that we hit. A lot of things, too many to even count right now. But I can tell you that you go back and watch that Washington, watch how sharp rotations were and how bouncy everybody was, really every possession. Even when Washington was red hot and they went on that big run, we didn't lose self-belief. We had turnovers that kind of calmed it down, sought the shot. So yeah, I think you go further than that game.
Great. Thanks so much, Coach. I appreciate it.
Corey Annan.
Hey, Coach. Congratulations on making the playoffs and everything like that. I wanted to talk about, the 3-point success you guys have had. You guys obviously breaking the single season record with 3-pointers made. Do you credit the implementation of your 5-out motion offense, or do you think it's personnel, or is it a combination of both?
Yeah, I would credit the players for knocking down shots. We created a lot of good ones last season, and just we had trouble knocking them down. I think that this group, yes, we've made in terms of the personnel, we really have some great shooters on this team. I think even players like Sammy Whitcomb, who's made a career out of being a really good shooter. I think that the jump in efficiency has really been a result of work ethic. There's a lot of players on this team that can knock down threes. I think that people are taking the right shots for the most part. They're seeking out great shots rather than good ones. So that could be part of the system, I guess you could say. But at the end of the day, I mean, players make plays, and this group, they've done a pretty tremendous job, pretty consistently, of knocking down the 3-ball.
And just another question I wanted to ask you, going into the playoffs, given this is a relatively young team, having, championship experience, Sammy and Tasha won championship with the Seattle Storm. How are you kind of using that to your guys' advantage, having those players who've been in tough playoff situations, and, helping them, kind of develop this young team and preparing them for the playoffs?
I think it's huge. There's no substitute for that experience. There's just not. There's having coaches on the staff who've gone through successful playoff runs, that's really big. And having players that have gone through those moments. And then, you have players who, like Niger, who haven't spent a lot of time in the playoffs necessarily in recent years, that are hungry because of that. And there's edge to them because of that. And so when you combine that with the experience that we have, a couple other players, their playoff runs, I think it's a really, really potent combination of experience and drive.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Got it.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hey, Coach, I'll just ask you one. I wanted to talk to you about what your day was like yesterday, because I know you're always hyper-focused on the controllables, and you had no control over what the outcomes are going to be yesterday. So what was your experience like? We saw a whole bunch of the players get onto an IG Live. Were you with anyone? Were you by yourself? How'd your day go?
Yeah, I just got drunk. I was just drunk the whole day. I watched the games with the group. And then the second game, everyone kind of split off, and I ended up watching it by myself. And I was kind of simultaneously preparing for Phoenix as we were watching old film, and and then that kind of went into hyperdrive once we got the final results of those games. So, it's you said it right, that I'm excited, but I'm focused on the task at hand more so than spending a lot of time with the excitement. There'll be a time for that, but right now, this group needs me locked in and focused. So that's what I did. That's what I spent most of the day doing this year.
Thanks so much.
Andrew Lipton.
Hi, well, congratulations on making the playoffs. A big accomplishment. it seems like Natasha is at such a disadvantage against Griner. I mean, the height differential, that last game, it looked really rough on her. How do you prevent Griner from just really getting that down low position without double teaming her and maybe opening up the court? Do you use Kylie more? Do you use Rashonda more in this game?
Yeah, I think it's going to take a lot of different things. It's going to take a lot of different things. And I think, it's important not to overreact. I think BG in one of those games had 13 points. And yes, there was some good passing, there were things like that, but it's something that we're still trying to find that balance of, being hyper reactive to a really great player. To some extent, they're gonna find ways to score. And so you try not to compromise your defense, you try to keep guessing. We did a really good job taking it out of Tina's hands. She did a good job passing and finding people, and they knocked down shots. It's going to be a pick your poison thing. And so sometimes, we'll probably pick the poison of making other people beat us. At other times, if BG gets going, we've got to find a way to try and get it out of her hands. So, like I said, it's not going to be a ton of change of what we do. It's going to be more just being sharp and everybody being on the same page.
Thank you, Coach.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Next up, we have Benijah Laney and Rebecca Allen. Please raise your hands if you have questions. All right, first up, Sarah Valenzuela.
Hey, Beck. Hey, Benijah. Congratulations. Just curious if you could tell us where you guys were yesterday watching the other games from, and how did you celebrate?
I was here watching the games. I stayed at the gym after a workout, and then treatment and everything came on. So I just stayed here in the training room watching, and for me, right after I just hit the group chat, like,
It was blowing up. And I guess I was here for the first game and I was at home for the second. So it was very, very intense.
Gotcha. And if I could just do a really quick follow-up, just as far as this first matchup goes, what's the sort of feeling going in? Is it more anxious, more excited?
I think more excited, just ready. I think that our last game just gave us a really good amount of momentum, and it just showed us what we were capable of, when we're locked in, doing everything that we need to do for 40 minutes. So I think that we're just, more than anything, we're just ready and just ready and willing to take on this moment.
Thank you.
Michelle Vopel.
Yeah, I guess this is for Benijah. I guess, could you sort of talk about what you think is the most important things defensively you guys have to do against this particular, Mercury squad, and maybe some of the advantages that they have, but that you might be able to counter a little bit. Can you kind of just talk about that from a defensive standpoint?
I think we need to be really engaged, hyperactive on the defensive end, just moving on a string, helping each other out, just being there, being ready, and just being as aggressive and directive as we can. But then they do have the advantage with the height and everything, but I think that we can use that at our advantage as well. Just running and moving around.
Thank you.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Thank you. Good afternoon, both of you, and thank you for joining us. Congratulations on the playoff berth. What the team has been trying to build over the past year has been part of a, quote, hybrid rebuild described by General Manager Jonathan Cobb with the assistance of Walt and Kia Clark. So what does it mean to have this undeniable proof of progress? You know, we talk so much about how progress was made during the losing streak, but now this is a sign of proof that this is working that can't be taken away by the biggest detractor. So what does it mean to have this undeniable proof of progress in what the New York Liberty is trying to build?
I mean, it means a lot for us just as a group to see where we started and where we've come to. I think, you know, we haven't had a lot of the results that we wanted, but we have shown a lot of growth. Just coming together, playing for one another, just building that chemistry, and just, you know, thankfully things fell our way. And right now we have this extended season, and we can just go into it feeling good with everything that's been going on so far, because they have put a lot of they backed us. The program has backed us a lot. So for us to be able to be here in this moment playing for playoffs is really good.
Appreciate that, Betnijah. Thank you. And Beck, my next question is for you. You're the quote unquote sole survivor of the last Liberty playoff team, someone who was suited up for a New York playoff game with a Liberty jersey on. So what
Continue.
Oh my God. Yeah, that made it sound a little grim. I apologize, but but on a brighter, you know, you're going back. So basically, what can you take from that 2017 team, and what could you say about the biggest sign of progress from you, as this time around you have had a very, 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 very active role in contributing to getting that letter next to your team's name?
I mean, well, firstly, this is, like you said, it's a whole different team from 2017. So I'm not even using that as the ballpark. For me, yeah, having experience in the playoffs, that's a good thing to have in terms of like what Betnijah said about playing with confidence, playing with that aggression, dictating the game, all of that. So I think it's coming out, and honestly, it's treating it like no other game. No other game. Not the way to put it. That is no different than any other game. I think we come forth, we put our best foot forward, and we make sure that we just play together. I think that's why you saw in the last game against Washington, the way that we played, it was enjoyable to watch, it was enjoyable to play. So yeah, I'm really excited for us to see what we're going to do.
Appreciate that. Next time I'll just use the word leftover rather than sole survivor. Thanks.
I don't know if that's any better, mate.
Either way, appreciate your time and insight, both of you. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
Jackie Powell.
Hello, good afternoon, both of you. Congratulations on the playoff berth. So I want to start with, you know, in this practice that you had today, what was the energy like, and how is it sort of balancing the obvious excitement with also just the focus that's needed to, you know, go out and really perform well on Thursday?
I mean, it was really good, you know, because obviously we're happy, we're excited to be in this moment. But like you said, we've had that balance, and we found that that's when we're at our best, when we do have that excitement and that joy to be playing the game and be playing alongside one another. But then to also have the balance of just being focused, having attention to details, being locked in, and, you know, making sure that we're executing each and every assignment. So I think that was our practice today. I think we did a really good job of that, of just, you know, containing our excitement, but allowing it to be there and to get us going, but also, you know, understanding what it is that we have to do.
Great. And for Beck, you know, the last time you all played Phoenix, it was at a time when the team was really struggling back in August. What, I guess, were some of the reasons for those struggles, and why is the team that you're with, or who the team is right now, you know, how are they different from who that team was when you last played Phoenix?
Well, I think the beauty of playoffs is that it's a whole new season in some ways. You know, it's now 0-0. This is us coming in and just, you know, playing our game against them. Like, they've got, obviously we said they're bigger, but then we've got our strengths as well that we need to play to. And if we play aggressive and we play with that energy that we were just talking about, it's anyone's game. It's going to be really good for us.
Great. And the final one from me, you know, we got some press releases about the player of the week, and we noticed that Natasha was one of them. And so I'm curious from you both what the reaction is to Natasha getting that honor, especially amid the journey that it's been for her, to come back from that injury. It took a little time. Maybe there was even some frustration, but it really seems like she's becoming back to herself again.
We were just really happy for her. She was really excited. And like you said, even though we've been struggling, just for her to have that, it's as much as for her as it is for us. We celebrate one another and our accomplishments. So for her to get that, is really good. And it's a confidence booster, not only for her, but for the team, to know that we can rally around her and go through her and, just rely on her. So her getting that award was really good for us. As long as well as, Michaela getting the Rookie of the Month again.
For the fourth time, maybe?
All year.
all year.
Reigning Rookie of the Month. So, we know what that means. We do.
Okay. Thank you both.
Corey Annan.
Question for you, Benija. What was the team reaction after, the big win against the Mystics and, you guys finding out that you guys made the playoffs and all that stuff? Was it a sense of overexcitement, or do you guys feel like you were more just focused on the playoffs and not really getting too high or too low?
I mean, obviously, we were excited and we were happy. I don't think it was overexcitement because we knew that wasn't the end. That's not where, so we have to, take that, but also continue to keep pushing forward. So, after the game, we gathered, we talked about how good everything was and just, trying to focus on what was next. So we waited, we watched the games, and then after the games, again, we hit the group chat and everybody was excited and stuff, but we know, what time it is right now. We know that that's not the end. It's not enough to just be happy about making playoffs. Now it's time to come in, lock in and get a win. So that's our focus is being excited that we're here, but also knowing that we have work to do.
And Rebecca, a question for you. Making the playoffs for the first time since 2017, what do you think, the message that you guys are sending to the rest of the league?
What was the last part of that?
The message you think you guys are sending to the league by making the playoffs, for the first time?
I think we're a team that a lot of the other teams are going to be a bit worried about coming against us because we've been showing so many, like defensively, we're hard, we're tough, we're really dictating their offense. So I think that we're making teams uncomfortable. And I think that if we keep pushing that, it's exciting to watch, like I said before. So I think that other teams will be nervous about us.
Thank you, guys. Good luck.
Erica Ayala.
Thank you. Beck, I'll start with you. Good to see you. I wanted to go back to the Phoenix series. When I spoke to Jazz after the first game, she was talking pregame and she guaranteed that the New York Liberty was not going to play the way they did against Phoenix that first game and that you learned the lessons. I think she was right, but there were still some things that the team, I'm sure, wanted to work on. So if you think of that last Phoenix game to then the last regular season game, Beck, what do you think have been some of the strides that the team has made in that time?
I think that there's just an element of being super locked in and understanding that, when there's faults, whether it's defensively, offensively, or anything, in between, it's like we've been working on them in every game since that. And I think that it was really showcased against Washington that we'd made strides, we'd made progress. And that's a big thing that we've been focusing on as well. So if we just continue to make, all those little small progressions we've done since every single game, and it was big in Washington, I think we played with this energy. Energy is going to be a big word for us for this next game too. So I think that that's what you're going to see.
And Benija, when we spoke to Walt after the Washington game and a few of the players, he mentioned that he asked everyone to come with about 5 things that you were going to focus on ahead of that Washington game. I'm curious, what were some of those things for you? How do you think they manifested for you against Washington? And what would you like to carry over against Phoenix?
For me, some of my things were to just be the best leader that I could be, to stay in the moment regardless of what was going on, and not to, invert, not to come get inside myself or inside my head when things aren't necessarily going my way. And I think that I did do that, you know, coming into the Washington game. I think that I led the team the best way that I could, you know, both on and off the court, being vocal, you know, just and showing, you know, hard work on the floor. And so, you know, I just want to continue to do that, to be that person for my teammates, for my team, for this organization. And, you know, hopefully we just get the same results.
Thank you and good luck. Bonne chance.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hi, Beck. Hi, Benaja. We spoke to you two after Friday's shoot around ahead of that Mystics game, and you both had this back to the wall intensity that we haven't seen much throughout the season. And Friday's performance mirrored that whole vibe that you guys brought to the presser. With last night's celebration behind you, how can you all lock back in and try to get into that mindset ahead of what's another do or die game against Phoenix on Thursday?
I mean, just going to it with the same mindset that we have nothing to lose at this point. And we just need to go out and leave it all on the floor and just play hard for 40 minutes, stay locked in, play together, play for one another. And I think that's what we did on Friday, and that's what we need to do again.
Thanks so much. Good luck on Thursday.
Andrew Lipton.
Hi, ladies. Thanks. Benaj, I wanted to follow up on something that Corey was asking. It's a long week, you know, till Thursday. And the mind could be a funny thing. I mean, I imagine last night you guys were really, really, very happy. Today, I'm sure you guys are saying, hey, we could do this. We could beat Phoenix. And tomorrow you'll probably feel even more confident about that after another practice. And then maybe you start to get a little overconfident. And then maybe people start having expectations. Well, hey, the Liberty should win this game. And then you feel a little pressure. How do you stay even keel from now till that game Thursday night?
I think just not overthinking it. I think, you know, just again, staying in the moment and within moments, you know, when we're in the game, just staying in the moment, worrying about what's going on in that moment, not, you know, looking too far ahead of, you know, okay, we need to win because yeah, we know we need to win. It's, you know, it's do or die at this point. But I think that if we just, you know, continue to group little moments all together, and in those moments, if we're executing and doing what we need to do, not getting too far ahead of ourselves, but just playing the right way and focused on that, I think that we'll get the result that we want.
Okay, thanks and good luck.
Thank you all for joining, and thank you, ladies. We will send the recording shortly. Thanks.